Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to TechTubeCentral. I'm back with another casual review for you guys. This is a review of the T-Mobile myTouch Q, which has been out for a little over a month now. And it's a very nice smartphone, and it's not bad for your first smartphone. So if you're someone that's never had a smartphone before, this is going to be perfect for you. Now, what's cool about this phone is it has a slide out QWERTY keyboard. So if you're a person that prefers these kind of phones, this might actually be an interesting option for you. Now, it does only have a 1.4 gigahertz processor, but don't be fooled by that. It has plenty of power. However, if you want the most up-to-date version of Android, this is not going to be a phone for you because it isn't running it is running gingerbread, and it's not running ice cream sandwich even, and you would expect that with the phone just coming out, it would have at least ice cream sandwich. I know Jelly Bean just came out, so it's not on a lot of phones, but at least ice cream sandwich would have been nice. There's two versions of the myTouch. There's this one, which is the myTouch Q, and the Q stands for QWERTY. So it actually does have a full-out slide or QWERTY keyboard, which actually can come in handy. Now, what's cool about this phone is the features. Now, yes, it does have a slide-out QWERTY keyboard, but it also does have a touchscreen and it is running Android. However, that can be a pain that it is not running the most up-to-date version of Android because you cannot use apps like Google Chrome that are requiring you have at least ice cream sandwich. It does have the classic pull-down notification as you would expect, and it has an interesting skin on it. It does have swipe, which is actually very nice that it does have swipe. I originally thought that swipe for keyboards was only available for phones that were made by HTC, but I looked it up, and apparently any phone company that wants to put swipe on their phone can pretty much do so. So if I swipe, I'm just going to put it in settings, and they claim you don't need a space, but you really do. And I think that's really cool that a phone like this has that. You're starting to see more and more phones have features like that, and that's very cool. So I've gone over the things I liked about it. I like that and the pros and the cons a little bit, but let's get in a little bit more into the device. So up top we have a headphone port right there, and then of course we have our lock button. On the back we do have what I believe is a 5 megapixel camera that does take 720p video, and there is a tiny little flash there. Pictures are pretty good on this phone. They're not the world's best photo. You can't expect to have the world's best camera on a phone to begin with, but it's not a bad camera to be at all. There is a front-facing camera that is kind of hard to see at first. It was even hard to see that there even was one. Now, let's talk about the back, because you will notice that it is very smooth. At first, I thought this was a little bit awkward and uncomfortable, and you'd expect it to get dirty quite easily. However, after using it for about a week and a half, I've experienced no dirt whatsoever, and like I said, it was uncomfortable to hold at first. It seemed really bulky, but it's not even that bulky, especially since it is a slider phone. I'm going to go ahead and get an Evo V4G for comparison, and if I put them side to side, you will see that they're about the same in thickness. The one on top is a slider phone. It is a little bit bigger than the Evo V4G. Granted, the Evo V4G is a very thick smartphone, so they're about the same in terms of thickness. But if you were to compare it to something like an iPod, which is extremely thin, it seems like a monster in size, but it's really not that thick. Now, this is perfect for someone that wants a slider keyboard because it's actually very comfortable to type on. Now, up front, you can slide it, and it actually works quite well. I've never had a QWERTY keyboard phone before using this one, and I've never been a huge fan of them. However, I do like that they combined Android with a QWERTY keyboard. I think this is awesome. I wish more phones had QWERTY keyboards, and you're kind of starting to see them die out. However, I think that it works really well. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull up a message real quick here. So if I were to, why not? Let's email myself. If I were to type something out, I mean, it's very nice. The keys kind of feel small if you have big hands at first, but you do get used to it quite easily. The browser is your typical browser. I mean, it's just smooth, typical Android, what you would expect. However, like I said, it is running an outdated version of Android. As for hotspot, it does have hotspot built in. So if you want to use this as a mobile hotspot, you can do that for up to 6 people. So that is very cool. What's interesting is, even though it's running an outdated version of Android, it does have a feature which I think is pretty cool, which is the Genius button. So if you look at the bottom, you do see a button for something called Genius. So of course, at the bottom, you have your menu button. So you can pull up some different options right there. You have the home button, the back button, and you have this little green button called Genius, which is called Genius. So it actually is voice recognition, and it's different than S voice. Find me pizza, and hopefully it'll find me some pizza. It can search Yelp, Google, and other applications. So as you can see, we do have Wikipedia, Twitter, Google, Yelp, OpenTable, and YouTube. So if I go to Yelp, which it originally searched, I can go to list, and you can see all the different pizza places that are by me. So that's pretty cool. I like that it has that. Pretty nifty, and it works really well. So let's get down to it. The price. It runs for $50 after mail-in rebate and $100 before, with a 2-year contract. Now, I'm the kind of person that likes to stay up to date with Android. However, I haven't really seemed to have a big of deal with it having an outdated version of Android. It doesn't feel old at all. It's nice. It has a slide-out QWERTY keyboard. If you want a nice huge screen, maybe this isn't the phone for you. If you want a super thin phone that has a ton, like a super fast processor, I didn't find this phone at all slow by any means. But if you're a person that cares about having a super fast smartphone, then I would go with something like maybe Galaxy S3. So, I mean, this is a really cool phone. The cameras work really well. The Genius button is nice. It feels uncomfortable at first and kind of bulky, but it's really not that bulky. And the slide-out keyboard is nice, and it's nice to see them have swipe as a keyboard option on here. Overall, I find it a great smartphone for anyone, really. While this isn't going to replace a Galaxy S3, in my opinion, or the HTC One S or an iPhone, it's really not a bad smartphone. I've really enjoyed using it. I actually have preferred using the slide-out QWERTY keyboard, believe it or not. I have pretty big hands. I mean, my finger can easily cover up a whole section of keys. And so, I mean, I have big fingers, and I didn't think I would like it, but I actually ended up really enjoying the slide-out QWERTY keyboard. So that's pretty much it for this review, and that's not all, but that's pretty much everything you need to know about this phone. I really like it. Pick it up. You can pick it up for $50 on contract on T-Mobile's wireless network. So having said that, like I said, battery life is good. It's a great phone. I highly recommend you check it out if it's your first smartphone, or even if like I said, I don't think it can replace the iPhone necessarily, but it is a very nice phone. So if this is your first smartphone and you like QWERTY keyboards, I highly recommend you pick it up because it's not bad for the price, and it does seem to be quite fast, and the Genius button really does come in handy. So thank you for watching this TechTubeCentral video, and I will catch you guys in another TechTubeCentral video. If you guys would be awesome and hit the like button, it really does help me out. Thank you so much. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.